platinumed Elden Ring, you know. But that's the easier one. I also did Sekiro. We are about to be 1 month from release of the next game from industry icons From Software with Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. To be honest, I really don't see that much hype about it on my timelines outside of the typical From posters, which is normal. But the thing is, this isn't normal because just over a year ago, this company released that game. You would expect, or at least I would, that after last year's wildfire that was Elden Ring, the internet would be consumed in anticipation, waiting for FromSoft's next game that follows 2022 Game Awards Game of the Year winner Elden Ring. Especially as we're all itching for that Elden Ring DLC. But even myself, a From Software enjoyer, and somebody who thought Elden Ring was good, I'm not entirely sure what to make of Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, or if I should even be excited for it. So if you find yourself in a position close to mine, then buckle up because today we're trying to answer who is Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon for? And is it me and you? In an attempt to do this, I figured the most straightforward approach is to look at a lot of the PR and marketing materials we have so far and construct a good old-fashioned pros and cons list. Starting with the first pro, it's From Software. Another pro for me personally, Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon is going to be a linear level-based game. The open world of Elden Ring definitely had its benefits and honestly probably lent heavily to the success that the game found. But for me, I didn't find the open world all that special. If anything, it kind of just got in the way of what I really wanted to experience in that game. The more traditional level-like legacy dungeons like Stormvale Castle and Lindell and Crumbling Farum Azula. So Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, taking a more traditional approach, is a huge win in my book post Elden Ring. I guess for our first con, since we have to be fair, the title. Nothing against this. This fucking rules. But this is Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. They can tell me it's a reboot or a great hopping on point all they want, and I'm sure it is, but the 6 has some baggage. When the rumors first broke that a new Armored Core was coming, stoked. This was in the middle of my I'm good at these now binge through some of the From Software games, and just the idea of doing another one of them, but with a mech that I built, absolutely. And with all those rumors, I expected something that would look like this. But with those Roman numerals, along with some of the comments out of From Software, Fires of Rubicon was never going to be the game I was imagining. This is going to be a From Software you and I are really not that familiar with. Maybe this is what the dorks who hated Sekiro felt like. Speaking of, next pro, the director is the lead game designer of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is quite honestly the best From Software game I've ever played. And despite being the face of the company, Hidetaka Miyazaki is not the only person that makes these games great. From what we've been told, Miyazaki was the initial director to jumpstart the production of Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, so his touch will still be felt. But the production pipeline and directing duties being taken over and brought to the finish line by the man that brought us the Makiri counter, mind you. I'm going to hear them out. Just looking at some gameplay for Fires of Rubicon, the speed and intensity of Sekiro's combat is apparent. And seeing how both of these games, Sekiro to a lesser extent, are the largest departures from the Soulsborne approach to game design that made up the better part of From's last decade, well, let's just say this is good company to keep. Another con, and this is a big one. I've never played a mech game that did not suck. Now listen, I haven't played every mech game, okay? And unless we're counting something like Titanfall 2, which is unparalleled in many genres and disciplines, every single mech game I've tried, I just have not liked. None of them have managed to capture the weight and feeling you get watching the Jaegers in Pacific Rim punch things and also actually be fun to play. I think perspective plays a big role here, where a lot of the mech games that I have tried love throwing giant enemies at your human-sized character, or the camera is pulled too far back that when a normal-sized helicopter or tank rolls by, just kind of looks uninteresting. Now, From has had their fair share of incredible giant bosses that make it feel like you're up against impossible odds. That's one of the things I love about From Software games, is that scope. But that doesn't change the fact that if you're fighting something and it makes you feel like a normal-sized human when you're actually a mech, then half of the magic is gone. What I do think this game has the potential to capture, though, is the weight and feeling of heft in controlling the mecha that we build. Because the Dark Souls games are already great at this. They make you commit to poor inputs and punish you for it. Make me be deliberate and slow and methodical. If I want to punch something, make me commit to that punch. Remember the really fast drifting mech from the reveal trailer? Only let me be that if I commit to using wheels instead of legs. Now, currently Pro is in favor with 3-2, but one of the pros is just that it's From Software, and this last one could also be construed as a negative. But if you have any familiarity with From Software, you'll know it's actually a positive. Or at least it'll net out to be one at the end. This ties back to the 6 of it all, but Armored Core, from what I understand, seems incredibly daunting. Not to the extent of like Forza car tuning, but it may as well be. From what I've read about the series, if you choose the wrong chassis for your mech and pair it with the wrong plating, if it's not ionized or if things aren't properly aligned, it can drastically affect your performance in completing missions. And while this is a lot to comprehend, as a newcomer, it's not all that different from the Soulsborne series, except now instead of allocating souls, it's aligning scrap metal. So despite my adoration of From Software, viewing them as one of the best developers making games today, I'm still not quite sure how I will feel about Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. This is new territory for a lot of us, but maybe that's a good thing. After all, at one point we all played our first Soulsborne game and we were not good at it at the start. We've all experienced dumping souls and blood echoes into things we absolutely did not need, skills that were completely useless to our build, or, aggroing Eileen the Crow by accident. But hey, maybe 10 years from now, we'll be saying Crash Bandicoot 6 is the Armored Core of platformers, and this is going to make waves, and we just don't know it yet. That's all for Low Poly this week. I'll see you next time. I've been wanting to do a full episode dedicated to my thoughts on Final Fantasy 16, but unfortunately I still have not seen it through to the end, but I am thinking about it constantly in writing this episode, whether I'm listening to the prologue music or thinking about the characters or wishing I was playing it again. And of course, Square Enix apparently knows this, because this week, thanks to San Diego Comic-Con, we have a heaping pile of 16 merch to sort through. So I figured I would give my impressions and highlights of some of the merch based off of my understanding of the story and characters and game at 69% and 31 hours. Very, very vague, no real spoilers here. Well, I'm almost to this part. I hope that doesn't spoil the ending. I swear, I always liked Ifrit, and they were probably my favorite summon before this game. Seriously, I mean it. Also, I do like shirts like this. Man, I just memorized that this dude's name is Nectar. Why is it not listed on the website? Sure. Yeah. All of these look great. Pure comedy. These 3 are tempting, but I wish there was like a way to save. Oh, nice. Wait, I thought Torgal likes Jill more? Clive has an earring?